This is my consumer insight presentation. I'll be looking at Pretty Little Thing and its competitor, Misguided. I'll look at perception, attitudes and persuasions, and family and reference groups. My name is Frances Leonard and my C number is c3534701. Pretty Little Thing is an online fashion retailer providing their consumers with affordable runway-inspired fashion. PLT snuck into the market in 2012, competing against similar online fashion retailers Misguided, Boohoo and ASOS, who all share the same target audience. PLT are targeted at fashion-focused individuals at very affordable prices within a young demographic. Since its launch in 2012, PLT have seen immense brand growth, becoming one of the most searched fashion brands online in 2019. PLT have grown 238% between 2015 and 2019. Online fast fashion industry, accounting for more than 20% of total sales, online is increasingly becoming more prominent in the UK retail industry. According to Fast Fashion 2019 report, fast fashion will represent 10 to 20% of total revenue shares in the key European fashion market in 2019. Pretty Little Thing and Misguided. PLT and Misguided are both fast fashion companies based in Manchester, England. PLT and Misguided both share very similar price points on products and ranges. They both sell clothing at cheap prices to compete with other fashion brands and attract their young fashion consumer. They also have similar brand values. Both brands consider themselves as young, sassy, body-confident brands, both using popular influencers to promote their products. One of the main differences between the two brands is that Misguided have retail stores, whereas PLT only sell online. They are both also similar brand sizes. Misguided's estimated annual revenue is 222 million and PLT's was 377 million. This perception map shows that PLT sits in the low price, medium quality bracket in the online fast fashion industry, alongside its competitor Misguided, which sits in the low price and slightly higher quality bracket, both sitting above brands like Zaful and Shein in the low price, low quality bracket, also sitting below House of CB and Mr. Rocks, who sit in the high price, high quality bracket. Perception is the process through which information in the form of stimuli in the environment is selected, organised and interpreted through the sense of organs. Perception is a three-stage process that translates raw stimuli into meaning. These three stages are exposure, attention, and interpretation. Attention refers to the extent to which processing activity is devoted to a particular stimulus. We are exposed to such a large amount of and variety of marketing stimuli that we have to select what we pay attention to. The average adult is exposed to 3,500 pieces of advertising information every single day. Because consumers are exposed to so many advertising stimuli, marketers are becoming increasingly creative in their attempts to gain their attention. Getting the attention of young people is particularly a challenge. A large proportion of teens report that they engage in multitasking. PLT and Misguided target a young audience, meaning it can be hard to get their attention. In addition to receiver's mindset, characteristics of stimuli itself play an important role in determining what we notice and what we ignore. Attention can be created in several ways. Size. The size itself, in contrast to the competition, helps to determine if it will command attention. Colour. Colour is a powerful way to draw attention to a product or give it a distinct identity. Position. We stand a better chance of noticing stimuli that are places we're more likely to look. Movement. Movement can be used to grab people's attention, particularly when they're not expecting it. The use of shock advertising can be used to gain attention is perhaps the most interesting and controversial way in which advertisers gain awareness. But it can be fraught with danger since businesses have to ensure that they do not alienate existing potential customers. Guerrilla marketing describes unconventional marketing strategies with which to achieve significant effects, with a fraction of the budget of traditional marketing strategies. PLT parked a giant bus outside of Parklight Festival in June 2019. The site itself commands attention, as well as the bright pink colour which portrays the distinct identity of PLT. The position of the bus was positioned in an extremely busy place, in the middle of Manchester's Parklight Festival, among 80,000 people, who were mostly young, which is who PLT looked to target. It's extremely unconventional to have a pink giant coach in the middle of a festival. This lends itself to great attention. Misguided parked a 4x4 giant truck inside Blue Water Shopping Centre to promote their new store in May 2017, commanding attention through its size, colour and positioning. In comparison with the PLT bus, the Misguided truck was in a less populated area as well as the audience not being on target, whereas the PLT was located in a heavily popularised area around lots of young consumers. As well as the size of the Misguided truck being much smaller than the PLT bus, this lends to less attention. As well as a PLT associating itself with a popular event such as Park Life, this makes it more successful, as looking at the Hender's balance theory of attitudes considers the relationship between a person, their perception of an attitude of an object. By PLT associating with Park Life, this lends to positive attitudes towards PLT, as consumers seek a balance or alignment between three elements. There are numerous images and messages that shock. These can be sexual, involved age or religion, or just be unusual behaviour. Attitude towards an ad affect attitude toward a brand. PLT uses shock advertising in an advert in February 2020. This advert was banned for being over-sexualised and looking to objectify women. Using sexually oriented appeals in advertising attracts attention and leads to positive thoughts, which is vital in today's saturated media environment. Shock advertising can increase attention and memory, however advertisements can backfire on the company. Even though getting the attention of the young people is particularly a challenge and shock advertising is a great way to increase attention, it's extremely risky and can lead to negative backlash, which isn't good for a brand. Jude and Alexander conclude that sexually subjective ads may be offensive to many and therefore should be used with great caution. An attitude is an individual's disposition to respond favourably or unfavourably to an object, person, institution or event. Generally, attitudes are thought to comprise three main components: affect, behaviour and beliefs. The function theory of attitudes was proposed by Katz. This approach is called a motivational theory of attitudes, and the theoretical idea is that in order to change attitudes, it's important to first understand the motives and underpin the attitudes. The Uterellian function is related to the basic principles of reward and punishment. In the fast fashion industry, the main Uterellian function across all brands is fast, on-trend, cheap clothing, with different brands varying in price and amount of new styles. PLT really expresses to its audience that the main feature that sets them apart from its competitors is that PLT is one of the stop shop for trend-led women's clothing at seriously killer prices, with having hundreds of new styles dropping daily. They really try to make this clear to the consumer through their large use of discounts on their social media platforms as well as their new in-page. Attitudes that perform a value-expressive function express the consumer's central values or self-concepts. PLT have recently brought out a recycled range which will appeal to the consumer's value-expressive attitude, as purchasing items from this range puts across the message that they care about sustainability and trying to save the world. The ego-defensive function refers to holding attitudes that protect our self-esteem or that justify actions that make us feel guilty. PLT combats this with its collaborations with events like Coachella, Paper Magazine, and its 2018 party with Little Mix. Associating PLT with these events and people emphasises its brand image. This then allows the consumers to shape positive attitudes towards PLT as a brand, as the collaborations showcase PLT's brand identity further and reflects their brand image. Misguided also uses the ego-defensive function. In June 2018, Misguided partnered with Love Island. Not only did 4.7 million people tune in to watch Love Island, a very large amount of that were the young women. This supports success of the collaboration as it reaches a significant amount of Misguided's target audience, as well as a large number of people having positive recognition on Love Island. This helps when looking at Misguided as a brand. Looking at the knowledge function, some attitudes are formed as a result of need for order, structure, or meaning. Having knowledge on the products makes the consumer's decision-making process much simpler. For example, PLT sell multiple different clothing ranges, including tall, petite, shape, regular, and plus size. Each range is suitable for different consumers and their body shapes. For example, the plus size range is perfect for women size 16 plus as it goes up to size 30. The website lets the consumers know the height and size of the model wearing the clothing, as well as the material of the outfit, and also includes a size guide, making it easier for the consumers to pick the best clothing, as there is lots of information surrounding it. Consumers need this attitude when purchasing the right outfit for their figure. A reference group is an actual or imaginary individual or group conceived of having significant relevance upon an individual's evaluations, aspirations, or beliefs. Formal groups are usually formed by some kind of outside structure. PLT targets universities' formal groups by hosting sample sales at universities across the UK. These sample sales create brand recognition and retention for returning consumers, as well as gain new consumers due to large numbers of people at the universities influencing others by their formal reference groups. Informal reference groups is formed by a group of individuals who have some sort of commonality, but no formal connection to each other. PLT uses informal groups to influence consumers by using links that can be shared to people's close friends and family via text message or social media. The links provide discounts for both people receiving and giving the text. This influences people to purchase, not only people that have been sent the code. This is good for influencing close friends and family. Membership reference groups are those reference groups that we not only belong to, but are also in agreement with regards to attitudes, norms and behaviours. Aspirant group is a reference group that an individual wishes to associate with. PLT uses aspirant groups in order to sell products to consumers. PLT did a collaboration with Kourtney Kardashian in 2018, who is an individual many young women aspire to be. The family's social media presence has caught the attention of young, impressionable women and manipulates their perception of socialite perfection. Using associate groups can be very successful, which it was for PLT. Their sales rose by a third in the last 4 months of 2018, which is a strong performance credited in part to successful collaboration with the eldest Kardashian sister, Kourtney Kardashian. Word of mouth is information that they transmit to other individuals. Digital word of mouth is viral marketing that occurs when an organisation motivates visitors to forward online content to their friend. PLT creates question and answers with its audience, for example, asking them to comment their favourite looks as well as having them guess the location of the PLT HQ. PLT also gives away prizes to consumers who tag their BFFs in posts. Creating conversation with consumers creates retention for the brand. These types of posts get a lot of people talking about PLT. Having a two-way communication with consumers can reduce the churn and increase retention rate with contextual engagement. Online marketing has become one of the biggest sources of marketing. Haul videos are recordings posted to the internet that display recently purchased items. PLT collaborate with several influencers showing off PLT products through social media platforms. Influencers are a type of opinion leader, otherwise known as online opinion leaders. They have strong communication networks that gives them the ability to affect purchasing decisions for a large number of people. Nearly 75% of marketers today are using influencers to spread word of mouth. PLT use Ellie and Daisy, who are famous influencers with 2 million followers combined. They partner with PLT on many videos and give their opinions on products. This type of word of mouth creates large brand recognition as the online influencers used have many followers who view the videos as well as create positive brand awareness for PLT. Misguided also creates content to create word of mouth around their brand, using YouTube videos on online influencers' pages as well as on the Misguided's own YouTube channel. For example, Misguided posted a Q&A with the famous influencer Carly Bible, who discusses her favourite outfits from the Misguided collection, creating retention of the brand, as well as Carly Bible, the online influencer, portraying Misguided's brand identity. Negative word of mouth is a consumer's response to dissatisfaction. An example of this is a haul video that showed an influencer showing off damaged items from PLT. This type of digital negative word of mouth reaches large audiences and leads to brand hate and negative emotions, as well as consumers' buying intentions towards PLT, and create negative brand image. A way in which this can be solved is using public relation management. Perception looks at the way consumers interpret a company and its products. Both brands use effective techniques to create attention through guerrilla marketing and shock advertising. PLT successfully create attention through their marketing as well as target their specific audience. Attitudes are learnt prepositions. PLT and Misguided both use functional theories of attitudes to target their consumers through the 4 main functions. Family and reference groups have effects on the way consumers perceive and view brands. Both PLT and Misguided use word of mouth to create conversations about their brand and products successfully, as well as experience the negative effect word of mouth can have.